next tool that is an absolute must-have in your shop, and that is an angle grinder. Just a little 4.5-inch angle grinder. If I was a dentist, I would be using an angle grinder. This is the most versatile tool that you are going to have in your shop. Now this is perfect for people who don't want to spend a lot of money on a lot of equipment like saws, band saws, chop saws, all these things, because you can do all of your cutting with an angle grinder. Now of course it takes a little bit longer and is a little bit more of a hassle, but when you have limited space and a limited budget, this is the way to go. More importantly, it's going to help you finish your projects that you finish, keep them nice and clean, keep all the edges off so you're not cutting yourself, and just cleaning it up. My favorite of all angle grinders is usually coming from Northern Tools, and it's a great place to go when you're buying your first one, because it comes with a couple different discs and cutoff wheels and sanding discs all in one package, and plus you get the grinder itself, and it's usually like between 40, 45, 50 bucks, somewhere around there. That is a great deal. Now of course you can spend a lot more on angle grinders if you go to Home Depot or any place and you look at DeWalt, Makita, all the big name brands. They're going to come with the exact same angle grinder for a whole lot more money. And speaking of grinders, always got to have some sort of protective eyewear, whether it be actual safety glasses. I mean, these are like what, $1 or $2 a piece, or the full mask that you can wear that's just a big shield like this, just to cover your whole face, or just some sunglasses. I'll tell you what, a lot of the times when I'm out in the field, I just pop on my sunglasses because they're there and they're usually on my head. A hammer. Now this is a ball peen hammer, but it doesn't really matter what kind of hammer you're going to have, just some kind of hammer, and that's just to knock some of this practice welds off that we're going to be doing to break the pieces apart. And it's just a useful thing to have anytime you're working on metal. You're going to need some hammers around to bang this stuff around. And clamps. Clamps of any kind. Now generally you don't want the plastic clamps because, again, you know, we're welding here, so we're dealing with heat and melting stuff. The metal's going to get incredibly hot very fast, so you don't want anything plastic or rubber because it's going to melt. C-clamps are by far the most useful clamps you're going to have in the shop. Now these are very inexpensive. Again, you can find these online at places like Harbor Freight or Amazon, Northern, any places, or you could just go down to Home Depot, or any hardware store is going to have a variety of sizes of C-clamps. Now I recommend having all the sizes of C-clamps at some point because they are so incredibly useful. Now, one of the most important small hand tool you can have, especially when you're welding, is wire snips. A very good sharp pair of wire snips. These are incredibly important because when you're welding, especially in the beginning and you're practicing, you're going to melt things to the tip. You're going to have to replace wire, and this is incredibly important to clear that away and get your wire free and replace the wire. Now they need to be, I know how some wire snips are. You're just going to say, oh, I've got some wire snips, I'm going to grab them. They're in the toolbox. They've been in my toolbox for 20 years. They were my grandfather's. And you look at them and they've got all sorts of little pieces notched out, they're dented. That's not going to work because you have to be able to snip this stuff very cleanly without smashing the welding wire. And we're going to get into all that very soon and you'll see what I mean. But again, these are very inexpensive, so go ahead and pick yourself up a brand new pair of clips and don't use them for anything else other than for welding. And last but not least, you need a good pair of gloves. You can see I got these from King. You can barely see King on there, but you know, they're good, they're heavy duty. You can use them for just about anything. They're going to keep your hands safe. So that's it. I just wanted to give you this quick little list of stuff, and just to make sure that you have everything you need when we start getting into all the great techniques.